Hey, old dogs. I just want to take a moment to welcome a new sponsor to the show, Smart Move. Smart Move is the best way I know to protect yourself from evictions and bad tenants. Smart Move has a special offer just for old dog listeners. Just go to tenantscreening.com, enter code OLDDOG25 at checkout, and you'll get 25% off your next screening. That's tenantscreening.com, enter OLDDOG25, and get 25% off your next screening.
This episode of the Old Dogs REI Network is brought to you by Mino Studio.
In a world where jobs are how most people make money, one man, one desire, one challenge dares to break the mold. Welcome to the Old Dogs REI Network, where we don't work for money. Money works for us. Coming soon. Viewer discretion advised.
Welcome to the Old Dogs REI Network, where cash flow is king. Real estate investing, the means, so you can enjoy your retirement dreams. This is the show where we cut right to the chase. No sales pitch, no long monologues, just simple how-to real estate investing advice, so you can earn the passive income you need to enjoy your retirement today. And now, your host and chief old dog, Bill Manacero.
Welcome to the Old Dogs REI Network. I'm your host, Bill Manacero, and this is a show where 50-plussers and anyone else who wants to join us get solid, no sales pitch real estate investing advice to help generate real cash flow. This podcast airs twice weekly on Mondays and Fridays, and if you aren't already a subscriber, go to iTunes, type in Old Dog, spelled D-A-W-G, find our podcast, and subscribe. Well, we have a fun guest for you today. This gentleman is, he's got a great background. His name is Liran Koren, and he is a real estate investor, coach, and author of the best-selling book, The Ultimate Step-by-Step Guide to Finding and Investing in Off-Market Real Estate. Liran is an avid equity hunter, investing in commercial and residential properties when not advising real estate fund managers. He's the co-founder and president of U.S. Quality Homes, LLC, but enjoys a good CrossFit workout or traveling anywhere new just as much as crunching data. Liran also dabbles in leading online real estate investing workshops when he has the time. He says he's just a regular guy who started investing without any formal training in real estate, without any special insider connections, and with nothing more than $39,000 in savings that he scraped together. But by mastering the unsexy grunt work of data mining, court records, and analyzing equity, he's flipped over 1,200 off-market properties in the last 10 years. Whoa, wow, what a background. Well, Liran, welcome to the Old Dogs REI Network.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, I am doing great. And really looking forward to this interview. You've got a great background, and I'd love for you to just share your story with the folks that are listening.
Well, like you said, I consider myself as a regular guy. I come from the IT world. I come from the computer world. Since I was a little kid, I was very hooked to a computer. I first started using it. I just couldn't get my hands off it. So I come from the computer world, and I come from the sport world. I like to exercise. I used to compete in athletics. So I'm a competitive guy. After I finished the army, 3 days after, I moved to London. And I was an IT consultant. I pursued my career as a computer guy, basically, and this is what I wanted to do. I was so fascinated about computers that I thought that's the only thing I'm going to do my whole life at that point. And then I traveled to London. I left my country. As I said, 3 days after the army, I was in the Air Force.
You're in Israel, right?
in Israel. I was also I was an IT manager as well in the Air Force. 3 days after, I moved to London and started working as an IT manager, and I was a consultant for a bank. What can I tell? I was very ambitious guy, I would say. I went a different direction that my friend went. Usually in Israel, after the army, people just go to travel. After 3 years, that you're really killing yourself. You want to have some fun. You want to explore the world. And I wanted to succeed. I was very ambitious. I knew that my time is very limited. And I learned that very quickly because I see that life is short in general, and time is my biggest asset. So that was my principle when I first looked at my career. I knew that I had to do things and I need to do them fast. So as I said, 3 days after the army, I literally finished on Thursday. Sunday I flew. Monday I started working. I didn't waste no time.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not trying to brag. I didn't even know English that well, especially not English. So I tell you a little secret. I didn't sleep the first 8 months when I was working there because I was waiting early thinking I'm late for work. Just so you understand what type of guy I was. I was a guy who was going against all chances and believed that nothing is impossible. That was where I came from initially, and I also thought that if somebody could do something, I could also do it. So that was another thing that kept me pursue my dream, basically, which is another thing that came later about the passive income and stuff like that. But I was very busy investing in myself. I was very busy in acquiring value. So I finished my 2 years in London. I did very well, and then I moved to Florida. And when I came to Florida, the first few days, I just fell in love with the place and I decided to move. And I started all over. I opened my own computer company, and I gave service for about 5 years to businesses. And I was involved in how to perfect their own processes, how to help them be successful. I help other companies to be successful. And during that time of my career, I was a saver. Okay, I'm not a guy who goes and spend money. I am a guy who goes and invest money. You see, I don't need. A lot of people buy things because it makes them feel good. They buy expensive cars, they spend. Because and some investor, when they want to make money, their initial thought is how they're going to spend it. And that's a bad way to start with.
Right.
Okay, and I was a saver. I didn't know what I was saving for, but I was saving. I lived very modest. When I had some money when I came to London, to Florida, and I had some money, and I put it aside, and I left $2,000 in my bank account. This is a real story. I had about $70,000 that I saved for about 2 years working in London as an IT consultant. I came to Florida, and I had no job. And I said to myself, I'm not going backward. I'm only going forward. So I put some money aside, and I invested all of my other money. Back in the time, it was Ford Motors. They almost went bankruptcy in 2009, and they gave a good dividend for bonds. So I put the money over there, and I left a little bit of money for me to live. Why? Because me was not so important. What was important to me was success. So I didn't spend on myself. And that's how I started. I bought a car for $400. I fixed it.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. It was a Ford Contour 1997 that I bought.
Oh, my goodness.
It didn't even drive. I towed it. I fixed it for another $600, and I gave computer service for 2 years using that car.
Unbelievable.
At the same time, I was always living with roommates. I was modest on my my expenses, and I was making money and I was saving money, but I didn't know for what. And that was my mentality. Okay, that was my father taught me. Save money for a rainy day. Money is good when you know what to do with it. It's not good when you don't know what to do with it. So if you don't know what to do with it, just keep it and wait for the opportunity, or just invest in yourself so you can use it as an instrument to create wealth. And that's basically the principle that guided me along the way. And let me get you to the real estate part of it. In 2009, the real estate went down. I had a lot of knowledge with computers, but I had no knowledge with real estate. The first deal I've made, I bought it on the market, like everybody else. I thought I was the savviest investor alive, because I managed to buy a property. It paid good interest. Back in 2009, 10, 11, 12, etc. It was no brainer to buy a property, okay, because it was costing more money to build than to buy an existing product. So it was really an easy formula. But I didn't feel I was an investor. First time I felt I was an investor is when I came to the auction. Is when I went to see back in the days in 2009 and 10 and 11 how properties are being auctioned. And that blew my mind. I mean, think about it. 300 properties are being auctioned every single day. And a lot of, you're talking about tens of millions of dollars back in 2010, 2011. Nobody could even handle the amount of properties that are coming. It was just overwhelming. So for a regular investor to buy properties at the auction without title search, it's very risky. Mm-hmm. Right? You're not buying a property with title insurance. You're not going to a regular closing. You are bidding on a property live for cash, and you have to pay it in full. There is no joke about it. As soon as you bid, the money is withdrawn. So you can't make mistakes also. So it's not a regular kind of investing that I was exposed to. By the same time, I saw how other people are doing so well. And that started creating the kind of competitor kind of feeling that I have inside of me is how they know, what do they know that I don't know? That's where it started. That's how my real estate started. Mm-hmm. That's what got me so interested about real estate is not about the products themselves, specifically speaking, about the properties, how many bedrooms they have, it's got a garage, or what's the model. It's about equity. It's about buying properties at discount. So when you buy properties at discount, your risks is minimized dramatically, because you can always liquidize. You can be flexible with the price. Your income is much higher than anybody else, right? Because you buy cheaper. So all the metrics comes together when you buy equity, and that blew my mind. So think about it: 300 properties are being auctioned a day in 2009 for cash.
Crazy. Wow.
And people don't even know what they're bidding on. They only call in the case number at the clerk of courts. So how can you know where is the property? How can you know how many liens it's got against it? How do you know what's the condition? How do you know what it's worth? Okay, value, knowing how to understand value in real estate was one of the most important metrics anyone investing in real estate. Even today, knowing value, understanding value. Mm-hmm. You base your investment based on value. And that was the obstacle everybody had at the auction. So how did I resolve that obstacle? It was very simple, because I was a computer guy. And that gave me an edge. When you invest in real estate, you have to have an edge. If you are a real estate investor, you have to have some sort of edge. Either you have a system, you have a renovator, or your realtor, or your broker, or you have buyers lined up. You have to have something to have an edge as an investor. My edge was that I was able to scrap the data of 300 properties a day, including title search, by doing it automatically using my computer. I had a script running 8 hours a night, going folio by folio, property folio by property folio, going to the MLS, downloading the last listing, downloading the picture, then going to CoreLogic, downloading the comps, downloading the pictures with the comps, and etc. So I came to the auction with my information offline. When people were looking for Wi-Fi and for internet, I didn't need that. And I could come prepare for 300 properties a day. How many people can prepare for 300 properties a day? Nobody. If you search a property, if you do a CMA, if you do a comparable, okay, if you go to one screen to another screen, and you go to the MLS and you go to the property appraisal and do all those searches to get an understanding of what the value is, that's going to take you about 30 minutes per property. And that's not including seeing it. So I managed to call it crack the system. I managed to scrap all this data, have it on my Excel spreadsheet. I came to the auction. I have all my pictures in front of me. I have all my comps in front of me. I can only focus on the most lucrative deals. And that's how I started buying properties. And this way, it was very easy for me to scale because I had a system.
Wow.
What I teach my investor, and what I teach my students, and anybody who wants to come and get real estate investment advice, is first of all, I tell them you have to define your capacity, what you can purchase. Then you have to define your niche. Which niche are you gonna take? You can't be good in everything, and then you're gonna be focused on exactly the metrics that you're looking for. People need to put emotions aside when buying properties. They have to look at the numbers, and they have to look not just the numbers, also about the equity when they're getting into the deal. So most traditional investors, what they do is they buy properties, they have income coming for those properties, and then they build equity along the years, right? But what happens if the market shifts down? They don't become real estate investors anymore. They become real estate speculators. That's the difference. I don't speculate when I invest in real estate. I buy as a fact 30-40% discount price on today's market. All I need to do is to move these properties within 4 months and it's a flip. Or I can keep it for income. Or I can use 1031 exchange to move it. There's a lot of things you can do as long as you have a strategy. So I tell people you also have to have a strategy when you buy property. It's not just about the income. What if your strategy is going to change? What if you want to grow? What if you're going to run out of money? So at the auction, it's very hard to scale up. And when you buy off-market properties with equity, it's very easy to scale up. It's very easy to scale up. Why? Because you move your money quickly. If you buy 30-40% discount property, okay, if you buy it for 80 and it's worth 140, automatically you can be the most attractive property in the market because you can list it at 130 and move it. And that's what I teach my investors as well, is not to list their property at retail prices. List it at the price it can sell. That's another mistake a lot of investors are doing. They're looking at the highest comps, but they're forgetting that their job is actually to move the property fast. Time is not less important than the amounts that are associated with it that I'm trying to apply. That's the compound interest stuff. And when you buy 3 properties and you sell 3 properties, you buy 4 properties afterward. When you sell 4 properties, you buy 6. When you sell 6, you buy 9. That's how it goes if you do it fast. That's how you scale up buying off-market properties with equity. And let me tell you, all of the properties I bought after the first deal, all of them were off-market. I don't have any advantage in the market. All of the properties that are good are sold quickly. Those that are not good, there is a big question mark. Why are they not selling? So I'm not a property shopper. I'm an opportunity shopper. Call it this way. I go by the opportunity. I'm not restricted as an investor to single family, to only duplex, to only 10% equity, to only I can go into condos. I can go into 55 and over communities. I can go into literally any type of product as long as I have equity. And that's the key of the game here, is equity. And equity comes with knowing where to find it. And one of the most interesting places you can be on the internet to find real estate off-market leads really is the public records. Mm-hmm. Is the docket.
Right.
This is where you should go. People should not go to websites. Realtors should not go to website buy leads that are being used by multiple users, and 99% are outdated. What I do, we generate our own leads. We have our crawler, we have our scrapping tool that goes every single day to the public records. And for example, search for a lease pendants. This is the first document that is being filed for foreclosure notice. And the only thing you get is the case number. Remember, like back in the auction, that's the first notice. So how can you tell what is the property? How much the person owes against that property? How do you know if it's underwater or there is equity? Okay, I know these things every single day because I know how to scan those documents into PDF and then convert them into OCR and then just create a script that just takes this specific information that I need to know if it's a good deal or a bad deal. And I can do it for thousands of leads a day. So if somebody would do it manually, again, we are getting back to the computer side and we are getting back to the automation. And I'm also taking it to a CRM, but that's a different level. I just want to make it clear what's the advantage here. The advantage is once you can create an automation that you can basically save 50 hours of labor into 30 minutes, it means you can do 100 times more than a regular person.
Oh yeah, that's great. And do you? Let me just go back. I got a couple of questions for you. Okay, first off, when you started going to auctions, and you hadn't developed the software or the scraping techniques yet. Did you try purchasing it sort of the old way in the beginning? And what did you do with those houses that you did purchase early on?
I bought one property that on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I didn't buy any properties on the market afterwards.
Okay.
After I was exposed to the opportunities that are presented, I just couldn't do it because I have no edge.
Gotcha.
I have to compete.
So you would get these lists of, let's say, 300 homes that were going to be auctioned, and you started working with that list initially to do the scraping and to get a profile on each property, I would imagine, and then the ones that were most desirable you sorted out from the other 300, and then went to the auction. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. If you think about it, the auction is from Tuesday to Friday, so you have day after day of hundreds of properties. If it's just impossible. There is no much time in the day to do so for anybody.
This was a live auction or a online auction?
Back in the days, it was a live auction, 2009, 2010, 2012, the rules had changed, and it's changed to an online auction. And some counties in the States still participate offline because they don't have that. But in where I participate mostly in Broward County, it's online right now.
And you're focused primarily, at least for yourself, in Broward County. So you're working with the county records there, I would imagine. But do you go to other states
I just basically one of the as you mentioned before, I branched out in my with my book, and shortly afterwards, I programmed a very unique online course. It's a dynamic course. It's a 6 months program course where I take my students and I show them for live how I spend $500,000 of my own money at the auction live. And I'm taking them step by step into the property. And then I'm showing them how I'm listing it. And then when I'm selling it, I'm showing them what is the profit. So in this course, in this course, we are also providing each of our students the scrapping tool that I'm providing for myself. So I have students from Ohio, from North Carolina, from New York, from Texas, from California, from you name it. And we have developers that are working specifically and exclusively for those students to produce their scrapping tools in their own counties.
Gotcha.
Remember, one of the things I just wanna tell you why I actually came up with my book. Okay, it's very important. I think I missed it. For about 9 years, as I said, I was behind the scenes. Okay, I'm not a spender. I'm not a show-off guy. I was the modest guy you can imagine. I like CrossFit. I like to train out, and I like to eat, and that's it. Expensive things don't make it for me. And what I'm trying to say is that I was behind the scenes kind of guy. I was not a guy who goes and meet people, who interact with investors, who tell people what I do. Even my best friends didn't know what I was doing. So after a while, after 9 years, when I felt I have so much to give, and it's so hard to explain what I do. It's so hard to explain. It really is. It's a lot of computer, and it's untraditional is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard for me to explain people that even know me what I do. So I said to myself, I'm going to give all my values in a book. I'm going to give my secrets. I'm going to give my secrets in a book, and I'm going to give people to read it. And if they're interested, they're going to come back. If not, it's okay. I'm not in business to sell books anyway. And shortly after, I saw a lot of interest. I did it from the purpose of giving. Okay, it's very important for me to say, because I'm at this point in my life when that fulfills me not less than investing. Is giving, is educating, is saving people too. 90% of the people who comes to me, I need to save them from the deal, not to help them with the deal, because they're making mistakes. And I want to tell people the truth. I'm not selling dreams or anything like that. I'm not a motivational speaker. So giving was one of the things that were in my mind when I did everything that I was doing. And I'm focusing in that. I'm focusing in trying to make other people successful as well. They are not a competitor for me. People from Ohio and New York and California, and I cannot buy everything. Nobody can buy everything. This is a huge market. People are very jealous about the secrets, and I was the same for certain period of time. But now I'm an open book. Okay, I don't feel a threat. I don't need to. I'm over it. Put it this way. But a lot of people don't really want to tell their secrets. Me, I decided I'm going to give all my secrets, and this is where it came from. It came from giving.
Gotcha. And now, so your primarily, or your model is, it sounds like wholesaling. Basically, you buy it at a great discount, and then you just sell. You don't necessarily do anything to the homes, right? Rehab them.
It depends. It depends on the niche. As I said, I have several different niches. One of my niches is buying and flipping. One of my niches is buying and holding, because also I have a management company where I have a lot of investors who wants to have a passive income. They're foreign investors who don't even live here. So we keep them, and we manage the property for them. Every purchase we make, and this is a good point actually. It's a good question. Every purchase you make, you need to know your objectives. You need to know your strategy. I think investors should be focused and should have their own niches. But when investors buy a property, they need to know exactly what they plan to do with the property. What is the strategy? And we buy based on strategy.
Oh, that's great. Well, as I'm listening to you, I'm a multifamily investor, for example, and I'm going, well, if you can tap into the county records, I mean, you could do it for multifamily properties as well as single family.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it would be a great tool to have, especially now, I mean, where it's a seller's market in the multifamily arena.
You just brought up an excellent point, because I have a student who asked the same thing from us last week. His niche is targeting multi-units, and when my students start with me, as I said, I'm trying to focus them. Also, my book is all about focusing. Focus your niche, succeed, make a success, and know how to replicate it. That's why I'm telling you that buying properties in the market, you cannot create a business out of it, because you are counting on luck. When you count on luck, how can you create business?
Right.
I'm not counting on luck. I'm not counting on listing my appear or I might win. I'm counting on how can I find problems and having a solution to those problems. This is where my added value comes into place.
Gotcha. What key data points would you, in your software and and I'm referring to a software, I assume it sounds like it.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Let's say you focus in probates.
Okay.
Probate is a great niche. Why it's a great niche? Because anybody who files for probate want to liquidize their property. So it's already a sell sign. Yes?
Right.
If you are a buyer, you know that you already can clarify it, specify it as a lead. Now, your job, you have several things you need to do in order to convert that lead. First of all, you need to know what's going on. Is this probate as a property or not? You need to know who is the petitioner, who filed it, who has the power of say. Okay, you need to know who is the attorney. You have several pieces that you need to connect together in order to get the information you need in order for you to make an offer. It's very simple. It might sound overwhelming. It can be overwhelming if you're working case by case and you have no automation. So my scrapping tool for that specific niche would go into the public records, would go into the specific case that is associated with that probate. It would look for the specific document it needs to download, and it would do a script that import phrases into an Excel spreadsheet. So everything is going to be perfect, organized for you in an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, first name, last name, property address. We also have a Zillow connector, so you can see the value. We added a couple of nice things to the Excel spreadsheet, so we can manipulate the data. And what do I say by manipulating? If you can get the representative name and address, you can get his phone number. If you can get the property address, you can get the mailing address. If you can get the mailing address, you can get the owner, the family information as well. So everything is a public information that is very hard to understand. It's all, hidden behind documents, legal documents, but it's actually telling you the story of the problem. If you read and you look at those leads, you will understand how to approach them. When you buy leads from other companies, nobody can even define what kind of leads are they. People are just calling and saying, hi, I want to buy a property. Hi, are you selling your property? When we are calling, we already know the problem. They don't need to tell me the problem. I can see in the docket. I can see in the complaint. I can see how much money they owe to the bank. If they owe money, I can see everything, and I can come with a solution. I can say, hi, I already know your situation, sir. Okay, I don't need to ask you if you want to sell or not. I'm going to ask you what is your plan, what your plans are. Maybe I can help you. I think I can help you. What are your plans? You see, now it's different conversation. Now I'm not just sending as a wholesaler 1,000 postcards, 10,000 postcards or whatever, and expecting to get business. Okay, it's impossible because once somebody is going to call you back, trust me, you're going to miss that call. That's Murphy's laws. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the system, if you don't have the CRM system, if you don't have the follow-up system, you're not going to be able to get real estate, because in order to get real estate, you have to have processes. And you have to perfect those processes. They are not so complicated as you may think. But people don't put attention into it. They don't want to study. They are moved by other people's dreams. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't invest in themselves to find the answers. I invested in myself to find the answers. So I challenge those answers with my attorney. So this is the values I'm teaching people. If you don't know your stuff, hire somebody who knows the stuff. Don't make a mistake.
Right. In
this business, advice is very, very important. Back to the probate niche. When you have all this information, when you have the property address, the first name, the last name, the petitioner name, all that stuff, you can import that information to a CRM. And that's what we do in our office. We import those leads to a CRM that allows you to keep all the communication centralized. All the phone calls, communication centralized. All the text messages centralized. The emails are centralized. And the beautiful thing about it is that you can delegate. And again, this is another pitfall a lot of investors and property owners are having. They don't know how to delegate. Let me ask you a question. If you are a real estate investor and you are focusing on an equity deal, finding a $30,000 or $40,000 profit, whatever it is, and you're good at that, why would you downgrade yourself doing tasks that you should not be doing?
That's exactly right.
Other people should be doing. Why would you be collecting rent? Why would you be doing the leases renewals yourself? Why would you be looking for a tenant just to save a buck? All these things are big pitfalls, because people think that once you do something good, people think that they can do everything good. But that's a mistake. That's a human nature mistake. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that I learned a lot from that. Okay, I'm an investor, and I was not a property management company. Today I have a property management company, but I was not at the beginning. And I was not handling my own property well. I was not badging for the highest rent. And I was not getting my tenants placed quickly. And there is a lot of emotion involved when it's your property, really. And so you don't really, you don't behave the way you should behave professionally. A lot of landlords do so. They don't really take care of the tenants the way they should, and they don't find tenants fast enough. Okay, so when I was handling this kind of task, I was first of all downgrading myself. Okay, from all of a sudden a guy who makes $30,000-$40,000 a deal, acting in a capacity of a $15 an hour secretary, which doesn't make sense. Again, because I said time is the most important asset. You don't want to lose time. Time is I should use my time only on the things that I know how to do better than other people.
Right.
Things I don't know how to do better than other people, I should delegate. And to be frank and honest, a lot of my team, a lot of people in my team, their role, their job, they do it better than I would do it. Because my job as a manager is to recognize people's value, qualities that I don't have.
Right. The talent. Yep.
Talent in order to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
If I think I can manage my property the best way, and if I think I can find the best renter, and if I'm going to fail. Why I'm going to fail? Because I'm not focused.
Evicting a tenant can be painful and cost as much as $10,000 in court and legal fees. The best way to protect yourself from evictions and bad tenants is to screen your tenants. And the best way that I know to screen your tenants is SmartMove. SmartMove is part of TransUnion, a trusted consumer reporting agency with more than 4 decades of experience. They built an online screening service for independent landlords that delivers critical credit and background reports to you in minutes. It is a valuable tool to help you when you are trying to decide who to put into your rental property, and they can help you find your next great tenant. Only SmartMove has a credit score built specifically for rental screening called Resident Score, which can identify eviction risk 15% better than a traditional score. With the SmartMove report, you'll also get a criminal background check, eviction history report, as well as a full credit report. And only SmartMove has Income Insights, a report enabling you to analyze renter income to determine if further verification is needed. See why 9 out of 10 users recommend SmartMove, and more than 4 million landlords have used SmartMove to make better leasing decisions. SmartMove has a special offer just for Old Dog listeners. Go to tenantscreening.com, enter code OLDDOG25, and you'll get 25% off your next screening. That's tenantscreening.com. Use code OLDDOG25 at checkout for 25% off your next screening. SmartMove. Reduce your risk of non-payment and evictions. Well, let's say, for example, a property is owned by an LLC. I mean, will your software be able to maybe go to the Secretary of State's office?
Yes,
and
some
find
bits
out,
Florida, absolutely.
Interesting. Wow.
Absolutely. You have to understand, we have developers working full time. We have a development team. Everything we do, as I said, my courses are very customized and dynamic. It's not just something that we put out there and people just see it and go. They have 6 months program. They can ask us, and we have our programmers specifically do the research they need, not the one we give them.
So very customized program.
Yeah, they come to us with their preferred county, and they come to us with their preferred niche. After they're viewing my videos and after they're seeing the different niches we offer, they're focusing on a specific niche. And then we are also assessing their abilities. If I can give you all the product in the world, if you cannot buy it, what are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I want to make you I want to make you successful by knowing what's your objectives, knowing what's your capacity, and connect you with the options.
And now, is your team doing these searches for folks, for these properties, or did they learn how to do that on their own, or what happens in that process? So, for example, you've got somebody in upstate New York, and they're, they're looking for, I don't know, out-of-state investor property that's, maybe it's delinquent or evictions. I don't know, what elements you can go into, and they create and your developers create this scraping tool to be able to help them to find those owners. Is that software going to be operated by your people, or is it something that?
No, it's absolutely theirs.
Oh, okay, so they can.
We are giving them their own lead generator. I'm actually practicing what I'm teaching. I don't want them to be dependent on me.
Right.
I want them to create their own success and know how to replicate it. Okay. I'm against selling leads that are not really leads.
Right.
just holding it. It's not really. I just don't see it as a. I don't think it's a legit thing to do. Just to sell multiple leads to a lot of people. I think it's.
Well, I'm just kind of curious at what it sounds like you've done all of this really research on your own, just testing it out for your own properties and your own investments. You must have encountered some sort of big mistakes in the beginning. That it sounds like a process where you try something out. If it works there, it doesn't work. You learn and you adjust, and you keep refining, right, till you end up with a product that works for you. What was sort of one of the biggest mistakes or that you had to overcome early on?
You see, when I started, I was very focused on purchasing real estate and flipping them. And I wasn't looking at taxes, for example, and I wasn't looking at ways to not pay taxes by deferring, doing the 1031 exchange. I sold a couple of properties that I should have exchanged them. And one of the things that I was really lacking at, and I think I mentioned it before, is I was doing something that I was not supposed to do, in the sense that I was not a property manager. I was not a management company. And I was busy managing my own properties, and it took me a lot of my time to find, I call it the candies and the candy investments. Mm-hmm. And that kind of put me back, because when it's your own properties, you do have some kind of a emotionally feeling towards it. You really want everything to work well, and you put all your emotions into it. At the same time, it's good and it's bad. It's good it's because you care. It's bad it's because you care, but you're not doing the best job, is what I'm trying to say. And as a result of that, my portfolio was not performing well enough for my income producing properties. Okay, I just want to clarify it, because I have a lot of niches that I'm working on, and I came to and I fixed it. But that was the fact that I ran too fast, and I didn't just took a time to sit down and plan where I'm going and things like that. Everything happened too fast. Everything happened too fast. But besides that, I don't see any mistake that I've made.
And well, maybe looking at sort of the other side, the success is, as you started to work in all these different areas, you're looking at different niches. Where did you really latch onto? You said, "Hey, this is the best place to be for me."
Wow! Every day I'll be honest with you. Every day I'm learning more and more.
Sure.
And in real estate, you think you found something big, and then there is something bigger. And it's just endless. I think that I don't know how to define it, but I think that I'm happy where I am right now. I think that the development is not just in terms of real estate and wealth. For me, it's more about knowledge. When I talk about my success, I don't talk about how many properties I have or what's my worth and things like that. I talk about knowledge. Mm-hmm. I talk about knowledge because that's for me, it's more interesting. Money comes in different shapes and forms. But your knowledge goes with you no matter what. Okay? So having the knowledge and me knowing that stuff for me, it's the biggest asset, I would say.
Oh, I understand.
I would say I'm the biggest asset, not the properties. And I think everybody is the biggest asset. I think people are the biggest asset. Right. Their time, their values, their expertise, the way they connect value with each other. Okay, that's how you really create wealth. Mm-hmm. Okay, the business is a part of it too.
Right. And as far as niches,
I would say that probates are very good niche. Mm-hmm. Remember the baby boomers?
Yeah. Oh, that's who you're talking to right now.
Now it's the dying boomers.
You're talking to the baby boomers here. This is our audience. In fact, I'll even ask you that right now. Here we have the, baby boomers. These guys are either approaching retirement or they're already in retirement, and they're looking at a way to really supplement. And maybe they've got a nest egg they need to preserve. and grow, or maybe in terms of like a savings, and then you've got others that are that are looking to increase cash flow. And so for that audience, they're starting later in life. They don't have the long term that a young guy like you would have ahead of them, but they're starting later in life. What would you recommend they get into as far as niches and that would work well for that age group?
I think they should definitely look into income producing properties. By the same time, they should definitely avoid working for their own properties. Okay, they should manage the property with a management company that can get them the peace, the expertise, the knowledge. In other words, what I'm trying to say is you don't want to work for your property. Your property needs to work for you.
You're right in that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's a very important point. I want people to understand, because if you're making $1,000 a month and you are actually working for it, spending 20 hours working for it or 15 hours, you're not really investing in real estate, and that should be avoided. For those people who has some sort of capacity to invest in real estate and to create more wealth by passive income, is to be headache free to begin with.
So they're looking for cash flowing property that's giving them a good return on their investment, and I would imagine it would be a property that would be easier to manage, so that there would be a property management firm in there that you could count on. And a lot of us haven't had a lot of luck with good. A good property manager.
I know this is and this is a great point, because this is one of the biggest pitfall in the business. And a lot of my investor friends agree with me, and people I speak with agree with me, and I was failing in that aspect as well. And I think it's very, very important for them to be able to understand, the meaning of an investment property ownership. You say you are an owner, right? You have duplexes
right.
and multi-units. Right. You understand the meaning that you also have to comply as well, not just
That's right.
As a landlord, and you have liability, and we take that burden out of people. We actually show them the deals that are producing income, that are good, not just to buy and hold for income, but also to liquidize. This is another advice I want to give. You don't just look at the income, because rent also fluctuates. You need to look at properties that have some sort of attractiveness as well, that you can liquidize when you need to.
Right.
You don't want to make.
Right. Wow. Well, this has been, really good information here.
Wow, I'm happy, really happy.
What do you see your company? I mean, you're a young guy, smart. You've got an amazing niche here for business, and you're educating people. What do you see ahead for your company in the next 10, 20 years down the road?
Wow, that's a very tough question, I might tell you, because I'm not a planner. I'm a spontaneous guy. It's hard for me to schedule for next week, but it's gonna sound a little bit weird, but I'm very picky with the people I choose to go with. Okay, and I've learned that money is not everything in life.
You're right.
Therefore, I associate myself with people that are good, people that are have the same kind of approach that I have, same vision, same code of ethics,
values. Yes.
I think it's very, very important, especially when you partner with people. I'm expanding, and I'm partnering with several companies. My latest acquisition was a management company. Okay, we have over 1,000 properties under management in Florida. And I partner with a great partner who has the same vision as I do, and I think that that's not less. Choosing the right people for me is, I think, one of my objectives for the next 10 years. And I'm not looking company-wise. When you choose the right people, success comes along.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Really great advice. Great. Well, we are kind of running ahead here in our time. I could actually, is there anything that you haven't mentioned yet before we have our sort of what we call our wrap it up session? Any other?
I can talk for days.
I kind of sense that here, but no, it's good. It's all good stuff. There, I wish, I could, really delve into just, sort of the mechanics of how it all works. It just sounds fascinating to me.
Well, it's very easy. You can go to my website. It's my name, lirankoren.com. You can check the demos. Again, I'm an open book. Anybody want to ask questions, I can help you answer it. You can answer it together. Objectives right now is to give. So I'm an open book.
Well, you got a lot to give here. Definitely some great things going on. Well, let's do our wrap it up session. And then after that, I'd love you to give contact information and so forth too, how people can learn more about what you're doing. But in this session, we basically ask you a series of quick questions, and you just kind of share resources that you've used that have been valuable for you that they might be able to tap into as they're seeking to get more involved in real estate investing. So, if you're ready, are you ready to do the wrap it up here?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. How about your favorite real estate book?
Be honest with you, I do not have one.
You don't have one?
I have not read so many real estate books. I went to the Real Life Education University. It's called the Clerk of Courts and my attorney's office.
Okay. It sounds like you probably don't. Yeah, it sounds like you just learned from experience. That sounds like it. How about maybe a business book that you like?
I like Principles. I think the author is Ray Dalio.
It's called Principles. Oh, okay. And who's the author, or do you know the author?
I think it's Ray Dalio.
Okay. All right. Good. Also, as far as websites are concerned, and this is other than your own, but what websites do you use that you get a lot of value from for your business?
Oh my God! It's the Public Records and the Docket.
Ah, okay. So, when you say docket, you're talking about like the
you have
county?
Basically, you have two ways to view things here. You can view what's going on in the case, and you can view the documents. So I'm kind of a freak for that.
That's great. That's a science too, because you go from one county to another county, and they're totally different websites. Yeah. How about favorite app?
Tinder?
Oh, Tinder. Yeah. Sure.
No, I'm just kidding. Bumble. Put it in, it's funny.
So what was the real one again?
Put Bumble, it's more classic.
Okay. How do you spell that?
Bumble.
Oh, Bumble. Okay, got it. Okay, how about a favorite quote?
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Hey, that's a classic, and definitely always true. I love it. Okay, and this one, and it sounds like you'd probably answer this pretty easy. This is one we asked. It's basically, let's say you lost absolutely everything. Okay, everything's gone, all your assets, and all you have is $1,000 in cash. What would you do with that? Knowing what you know, what would you do with that $1,000 to rebuild your real estate investing business?
Same thing I do today. I don't even need money to get into business. And as I said, my knowledge is roaming with me. I'm my biggest asset. So I don't need $1,000. I'll do the same thing again.
Just go out there and
I can get into deal with no money these days. You bring your value. You don't need money.
Gotcha. So using your knowledge, you partner or bring in other investors or whatever to make it happen.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Wow. Well, Liran, this has been really, really great. Some good information. I think it's amazing.
By the way, if you take me, sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
By the way, if you take me back 10 years back,
yes,
with $1,000 in my pocket,
okay,
I'll be buying buildings today, no house.
Oh yeah, back then, sure. Oh man.
All right, this is how much knowledge is important. Today I have the knowledge because it's been 10 years, so I'm confident.
Right.
Back then I didn't have the knowledge. I had the money.
Right.
but I didn't have the knowledge. Today I have the knowledge. Even if I don't have the money, I'm going to have the money, you see?
Well, you mentioned buildings. So you'd say probably get more involved in commercial properties as opposed to residential?
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Interesting. Wow. Well, let's, I know you kind of mentioned it, but you can mention it again. There's probably a lot of folks listening that want to find out more about you, what you do, what, your programs that are available, resources. What's the best way for folks to find out about that stuff and to reach you if you make yourself available?
Honestly, the easiest way to reach me is to go to my website when we have a chat over there. We go over there every day together with my developers, so we don't miss a thing. And you just click on that chat. Usually we are there, we can talk. And the website is www.lirankoren.com.
Got it. And there will be a link in the show notes for those here that may not know how to spell that, but there'll be a link to that. Great. Wow. Well, Liran, this has been a great experience. We have a tradition here, though, because we are old dogs, that we always close out our show with our guests giving us their best old hound dog howl.
How do you do that?
You just
give me a
come
demo.
on now. Come on, you guys. I know you guys have. You got dogs in Israel. You had dogs here in Florida. There's a lot of dogs around. Just give us your best howl. How do they howl? Make that dog sound of dog, kind of like a wolf. Kind of sounds like a wolf type thing.
Wolf.
Okay.
A wolf.
Okay, that'll work.
Wolf.
That's great. This is the only show you're going to get asked to do that. You know that on all the podcasts you're going to go on here.
What else are you going to ask me?
Great. Well, Liran, thank you so much for being on the show today. We really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You bet. And I want to thank all our old dog listeners out there, too, for joining us. I know there's a lot of other things you could be doing right now, but the fact that you've taken the time to join us means a lot, and we really appreciate it. Please note, everything we talked about and Liran talked about today will be detailed out in our show notes at the Old Dogs website at olddogsreinetwork.com/blog. And you're going to look for the episode that's going to feature Liran, and there'll be a lot of information as well as links to all of the things that he mentioned and his website as well. So that's the show for today. Remember, cash flow is king and real estate investing the means. Until next time, keep moving forward and may God bless.
Thank you very much for visiting the Old Dogs REI Network. We would greatly appreciate if you would stop by iTunes and let us know what you think of the show. We would love if you could subscribe to the podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and write a review. The more ratings and reviews we receive, the more visible the podcast will be to others. Thank you.